Young people are told all the time, go find a mentor, get a mentor. It's going to be great for your career. And actually, 83% of Gen Z workers saying, yes, I would love to have a mentor. Yet only 52% of those workers actually have one. So that's a huge gap, right? Like about half of the population in this generation essentially are out on their own, not really getting the mentorship they might need to be successful in their career. And that is what I want to talk about today is the mentorship gap. How do you actually get a mentor? What does it look like? And where do you find one? I'm Elena, a career coach, talent development professional, and a former recruiter. And in these conversations, we get rid of the corporate fluff, and I just share strategies with you and information that you can apply in your career. First, I want to share that actually 98% of Fortune 500 companies have some kind of mentorship programs in place internally. And having been part of those programs and also having been built those programs, I can tell you that there's a reason they don't work. And a lot of cases they don't work is because usually it's just HR ticking a box saying we have a mentorship program. There's not really an ownership piece to the program. And also a lot of times you match with people that you're only matched with because you're on the same project. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they can help you grow in your career and so on, right? And those mentorship relationships internally that do work, they often happen by chance. Nonetheless, is it good to have one? Sure, because at least you have somebody versus just being on your own. But could they be better? Absolutely. Now, what does that mean for you as an individual? Do you need to wait to be part of a formal mentorship program in order for you to get a mentor? And the answer is no. You can still be part of that program, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing you need to do. There's actually other ways that you can find a mentor for your career. So I want to talk about 4 steps that you can take to find a mentor and how do you actually ask for one. Step 1, get specific about what do you actually want out of that relationship. What does success look like 6 months down the road if you have a mentor? Who can that person be? What can you specifically ask of them, right? Like, what is the problem, a scenario, a challenge, or maybe just a curiosity you have that you think this person can help you with? And why that specific person? What is the profile of that person? Have they solved this problem before? Do you feel like you've seen them in specific situations where you're like, I really want to learn how they handled it and so on? So be very specific so it's easier for you to navigate that relationship from the get-go. Step number 2, stop looking for a perfect mentor. You're not going to have this person who's just going to be there throughout your whole career and they're going to be able to answer all your questions and guide you in all the ways. It doesn't work like that. What I recommend instead is have a few different people that you can turn to for different challenges, different advices, and so on. So it can look like something along the lines of it could be somebody maybe a couple years up ahead in the career ladder that you want to climb, if that's your goal, right? So they can help you navigate that. It could be somebody who just maybe they're kind of just working and building their experience, but also maybe they have a little gig on the side. Maybe they're looking to start their own business, or they already started one. If that's something you want to do, so you can actually learn from that process. Maybe it's somebody who is really influential in the industry, in the network, somebody who can potentially open doors for you in the future as well. It doesn't have to be one person, it can be multiple people. And ultimately, you want to create almost like a group of advisors who can provide you information that is necessary for you to grow in whichever direction you want to grow into. Step number 3, make it easy for people to say yes. A lot of times you're going to reach out to people, and sometimes people will just reach out and will say, hey, can you be my mentor? And that's just not a good question, because as much as the person might want to be a mentor, when you ask it in that way, it's automatically puts a lot of pressure on the individual, and they might not have the time. So they're going to be, inclined to say no because they don't want to disappoint you or sign up to something they might not be able to deliver. So instead, what I recommend doing is reaching out with specific questions, specific challenges. It could be a 20-minute conversation. You can say, hey, I know you've solved problem X. I'm actually dealing with a similar problem in my work at the moment. Would you mind having a 20-minute conversation? I would love to learn a little bit more about how you handle that. And having multiple of these conversations and asks, there's like mini conversations, right, that you can actually then combine and eventually will become a mentorship relationship without even making it super formal, right? It's all about reaching out, asking simple questions, easy questions that they can possibly tackle within that 20-minute phone call conversation, right? Something that you can come back to them with, and of course, update them on about how you applied that learning and so on. And having some of these questions multiple times over a period of weeks or even months sometimes. And ultimately, that is how you have a mentorship relationship. And step 4, don't just look externally or look sideways as well. Look at the colleagues, look at your peers. Peer mentoring can be really powerful. An example can be, let's say you're new to using AI in your particular job, but the person who is on the same level as you and in a similar role at your company is already using AI. You can learn from them and saying, like, how are you applying this in our job? And learning from them. Peer mentoring is really, really great. A lot of times people that are right next to us can teach us something we don't have exposure to, and vice versa. So don't just look for that most senior person who's going to open all the doors and teach you all these things. Look at people who are right there in the trenches with you on the ground, doing the same kind of work or similar kind of work as you. The mentorship gap is real, and I see this across different professionals in different industries, and the lack is definitely there. And a lot of times it's because we don't know how to ask for it. We don't know how to start that conversation or even where to find mentors. And with these 4 steps, hopefully that can give you a starting point of where to actually look and how to approach this conversation. So we've covered getting specific, building a circle, making it easy to say yes, and also don't just look across board on with the people that are the same level as you that can add a lot of value. If you found this helpful, or if maybe you know somebody who's asking themselves all the time, I need a mentor, I don't know how to find one, and so on, pass on this episode to them. They will appreciate it. I will certainly appreciate it. And of course, subscribe, share, comment, and I will see you next week.